Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Still Standing, the Dog Show podcast sponsored by and brought to you by the wonderful folks at Canine Chronicle. Tom and Amy, you're the best, and we love what you do for us. Thank you as we move on. You guys have been doing this for over 50 years as the Chronicle existed. So, yeah, it's all good. Anyway, we have a couple things we want to talk about today. One is the rule change, which we think is silly, but necessary, evidently. And the other is some of the articles that have been percolating that I wrote, some ideas from people back and forth. So we will get to that. But right now, let's start with this. Well, first of all, good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Wayne. It's very
Well,
early where I am.
it is very early,
You're
and I
at the beach
appreciate
in
your,
Hawaii, just like laying around at the beach, and I'm home working.
yeah. Well, if this is Florida, and you can tell by the background, actually, I'm in the guest bedroom of our house down here in Florida, but I thought this looked a little better than than the shades. So we are on a roll with the beautiful backgrounds. Now, you may notice that Kim's background isn't quite as nice. She has a great computer. It was made before electricity was invented, so she has to hand crank hers like a Model T. But because of this image, I know now she's going to buy a new one, right, Kim?
Yeah,
Yes,
on
you
the
are.
calendar for Monday for sure.
Yes,
This
I
well,
think.
my memory's been full. Both the computers and my memory have been full for some time, and it keeps giving me warning that it's no longer backing anything up, which is a little scary. So okay, Monday, that's it.
There you go.
I'm
My
done.
memory
I'm
is
doing.
completely full. Anyway, this is a new rule that the AKC has created, and it addresses what happens when someone comes in your ring with a dog you have bred or co-bred, as I recall. What do you think, Kim?
Well, it's a no-brainer, obviously. I mean, why would you allow anyone to come in your ring unless they're just complete novices and don't know, but they would have had to purchase the dog from you. So no, I mean it's sad that it has to be included in writing because it's common sense. But this day and age not a lot of common sense anymore, I guess. So yeah, goes without saying, pretty simple.
Yeah, I think it's almost unnecessary, right? In the real world, why would you do that? But evidently, it's not. Evidently, people do this, or there wouldn't be a need for a rule change. But there are so many gray areas attached to this. So in our opinion, Kim and I talked earlier, this is a no-brainer. You just don't do it. And it's a shame you need a rule. But when you think beyond that, there are many gray areas. One for me is that my son's breeding pointers. So they can show to me. There's no rule saying they can't. Would I let them? No, absolutely not. And they all know that. If they buy a puppy from Brody, they all know they can't show to me. And that's part of the problem. There's a woman from our area that says, now what am I going to do? I can't go to any of the local shows because you're there. So that's an issue. And I think it's an issue you're willing to embrace if you know going into it, this is going to be an issue for you. Now, what do I do, Kim, if a dog that Brody bred, I don't know he bred it. I don't know it. And he walks into and happens to win the group and goes into best in show and I'm doing best. I don't know he bred it. It's in my best in show ring. What should happen?
Well, we don't have crystal balls. We don't know. I mean, I'm in the same situation with a co-breeder on my Frenchies, Perry Payson,
Yeah,
and he co-breeds incredibly beautiful Frenchies, and he co-owns almost everything. So there's literally probably hundreds of people out there
mhm,
that co-own dogs with him that I don't even know about. And a lot
sure.
of them are novices. They're just starting to learn, and they don't know who I am, so they enter, and there you go. So then I unknowingly judge the dog. There's, that it's just going to happen. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it.
True. And I think the rule is clear in saying that you can't knowingly judge them. So
Right.
there are instances where you forget you even had a connection to that dog and it walks in your ring. But really, if you know, or if you even have a hint about it, it's just simple. You don't need a rule for that. Sorry.
And it's happened here in the United States. A national specialty was awarded. I'm not going to mention the breed by the breeder to a dog that person had bred. The World Show has happened.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I'm sure it's happened in the US more than this one time, but I think it became hotter more strongly because it was a national specialty. So
Yeah.
it has happened. So
Well, I guess we do need a rule then if these things happen, and we do. But it just brings up the larger picture of, we are now in a sport where there's fewer people than there were 20 years ago, fewer individual participants. And there are also a lot of people getting into the judging ranks because we have so many shows and need so many judges. So it's going to
right.
amplify the situation. And you can't cover all of these things in a rule book. You just can't. Um, I mean, my situation where a family member or a family member's family member, what if it was my granddaughter's 5, going to be 6, but I can't have any control over. She may co-own a dog. I don't even know that. I
Right.
never asked, but it's possible. In fact, they have a dog now that my son bred. They may co-own it, my granddaughter and daughter. I don't know. So you can't figure these things out. You just have to use common sense. But I do know that you don't have to explain this to anyone. And it doesn't matter if this is a case of you breeding the dogs, having bred it, having co-owned it, or whatever it might be. You can excuse anyone from your ring by simply saying, we have a conflict of interest. And you write in
Hmm.
the book, conflict of interest. Actually, that's not true. You write excused. And your reason for excusal is conflict of interest. You do not have to
Correct.
explain that. And I cleared this with Tim and Sandy at the garden last year. You don't your action is excused. Your explanation is conflict of interest. You don't have to say why. Now, in the case where if you know the person, you can always say, thank you, I appreciate it. Have a nice lap of victory, or whatever it's called, lap of honor, right? And then leave. And I think that we see that done in Best in Show once in a while. And that's the honorable thing to do. Just say, don't make a big scene. Say, hey, I know we have a connection. Uh, please do a lap of honor, and then you're out. And you still have the right
Speaking of that,
excuse.
Wayne, I received a really thoughtful, well written. This is before this subject came up. This was prior about the allowing the dogs if you have a conflict of interest, and it could be a good conflict of interest, that you bred it or it's co-owned or something. It could be a bad conflict of interest, like I don't want you in my ring because
Right.
either you've had a falling out or the that particular exhibitor has irritated you and everybody else that you just don't want to deal with it anymore. But so this person said, why are we letting them come into the group ring, the best in show ring, and do their lap of honor? Like, why do we have to do that? And I've always thought in my mind that it was because, well, they have a worthy dog, they won, but they want the judges to be able to see their dog, kind of thing. You're acknowledging that the dog was the best of its breed that day, whatever. Um, this person's theory was no, what if it's a conflict of interest for a negative thing? Do you really want that person, are you going to give him the breed at the breed level? No. So that eliminates that because you're not going to give him a breed because you're going to excuse him from your ring at the class level.
Hmm.
But so what are your feelings about this person said they shouldn't come into the best in show group ring if it's not a conflict of interest for a bad reason?
Well, I think my experience has been if you both know, you discuss it earlier. And you say,
Right.
hey, just you know that we want you to win the breed and win the group. You didn't know you were going to get here. There's no reason you shouldn't, there's no reason you shouldn't enter. There's a path to get to me. There's no reason you shouldn't enter. But you have to know when you hit that path that we're going to have this discussion and say, hey, lap of honor. If it's
Yeah.
a excuse because I have another conflict and I don't feel like describing it, you just write it in your book and send them. You don't do a lap of honor. That's how I
Right.
would do it. I
Right.
just say, sorry.
So are you saying that you think that the circumstances that you just described that like nobody really knew, so they won best of breed, and then now they're going to go on to the group level, and you're going to excuse them there or the best in show. Do you think that should happen or should not happen?
I don't have a problem with it. I think they should enter anywhere they want to. If they
Yeah,
enter under me in the breed and there's a conflict, they're not getting anywhere. But if someone else did the breed and someone else did the group, I have no control over that. And why wouldn't they want
right,
to win a group?
right.
Um, so that's
I
not,
get
I
it.
have no
Yeah,
problem with that. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
As long as they know that when they get to me and that
Yeah. Well,
conflict
yeah. You always
begins,
discuss it.
they're done.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it could be two way. You can even some people tell exhibitors ahead of time, hey, you know what? Never show to me again. And that stops them from coming in the ring. I
Yeah.
don't ever want to see you in my ring. And now you know
Yeah.
it's done.
Uh-huh.
It's been done for
I have a
years.
couple of those. I have a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
those.
We all have a
Yeah. Yeah.
couple. And
Yeah.
there's some judges who are famous for it. Kiki Khan, don't ever come in my ring. There was more than one person she did that. Not me. More than one person she did that too. And I think that's admirable. If you don't want to put up with that, this is a game where sportsmanship is supposed to be the main event, right? So why would you want to have a showdown in your ring with someone who's a hothead, who's exploded on you or others before? You don't need that in the ring.
Exactly.
Some exhibitors or spectators sitting nearby, they've got to hear this interchange. No, just don't let them in. Very simple. Bye bye.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
do that. And we have right now with all these races and all this stress, we see some interesting behavior. If you don't want that interesting behavior, so ribbon snatching for going reserve best in show or second in a group or whatever it might be. Yeah, we don't need that. So we need exhibitors need to keep that in mind. Judges need to keep it in mind too. We need to be good
Well,
sports too.
there was an incident just last weekend while I was judging that a judge on the panel had an exhibitor that was, let's say, displeased and took its ribbon and threw it in the garbage can right
Ooh,
outside the ring. Like, here, take this and threw it in the
yeah,
garbage.
yeah, yeah.
And the judge saw this and the ring steward saw this. And she went into the garbage and dug the ribbon out and put the guy's name on it because she asked the steward who it was afterward. No, I don't think, no, I may be convoluting that. I'm not sure. I think, oh, she put the armband number on the ribbon. That's
Ah,
what it was.
yeah, yeah.
Put the armband number on the ribbon and then took it to the rep and to the superintendent.
Good.
So, she was mad enough that she did that. And
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a bench or not, but there was certainly caused trouble.
You know, mentioning bench shows it's a whole new topic, right? There's an issue we have. People don't want to have them. I get it. I had a show chair once say, I know this is going to be a problem. Don't do it. Please don't do it. It's the last day. Everybody's tired. There's no rep here today. We don't have a rep, which is happening more and more, unfortunately. We don't have a rep.
Right.
So if you call a bench show hearing, it's just going to be me and some club members who have no idea. They're on the hospitality committee. They do the donuts, and we're going to try to have we're going to try to have a bench show hearing without a rep. Now,
Yeah.
every club should be prepared for that. We know that show chairs, the rules for putting on a show, they all give you that opportunity to learn about that. But that sometimes happens, and it's too bad. Because if it's bad sportsmanship, it needs to be called out every single time. And we as judges need to be far more um, not prudent. We should be far more strident about doing it. We need to, when it happens, call it. If we don't do that, there's going to be too many people getting out of control. And if the club can't handle a bench show hearing, I'm sorry. With that said, these ridiculous ones. Bob said he didn't like Mary. Bench show hearing? No, that's not the way it works.
Right. Yeah.
It's got to be something that's, in fact, I don't know the rule. Do you have to pay? If you call one, do you have to pay?
You
In
know,
some countries, you do.
I'm going to be real honest. I have no idea.
I have no idea
I
either.
don't think so, but I may be wrong.
Well, I have an idea then. If you want to,
Let's look it up.
if you want to accuse someone of bad sportsmanship, not the judge, the exhibitors. If
Mhm.
if two exhibitors get into a beef, and not in front of the judge or anything else, and they want a bench show hearing, fine. Put up $200. If you win, you get it back. If you don't, if it's frivolous, you don't. Maybe
I
50
like it.
bucks, maybe $100, maybe 75 bucks. I don't know. Maybe it would stop.
There's a lot of parent clubs that do that, I believe. If you're going to bring charges against somebody, you have to put money down. I know that two clubs I can think of that come to mind that I won't mention require that you put money down before you file a complaint.
Yeah.
to go forward. So, I will look that up. So our next podcast, I'll have an idea whether you, I don't believe you do, but, we'll see.
That's right. Put up, damn it. Put up or shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now we also have another rule that's caused so much consternation. And that rule is dogs in the truck. Um, I haven't seen I haven't seen anything really change. Um, and I can't figure out why this has become such a big deal. Oh, I can, because we've lost dogs. Hang on. The dog wants to come in. Come on, Baxter. Baxter scratches the door to come in, and then a minute later he'll scratch to come out. Hi, buddy. You want to say hello to the people? No?
Baxter. So everybody can see Baxter's face.
He's pretty damn
Pick him
cute.
up.
He's pretty damn cute.
Yeah, pick him up. He's darling. It's a beautiful head.
It's a beautiful head, but I cut the hair off his ears, and he looks like something else. But
He's in a pet clip.
it's my little peach.
Look at that. Look at that face.
My buddy. He puts his head right in my neck and cuddles like this.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the best.
Oh.
He's the best. Bye, buddy. Are you gonna stay? You know, it's funny with him when the granddaughters call, which is every day, they FaceTime. He can be asleep in another room. When he hears their voices, he runs over and jumps in my lap so he can see them.
Oh, I love that.
This is what
That's so
dogs are all about. Never mind this other stuff. This is
but
the
you
best.
being a good dog person is, but you gotta, when people truly, whether it's judges or fellow friends or handlers, whatever, you can tell when they love dogs and when they just, it's a job, you know?
Our dear friend, one of the best human beings on the planet, Bruce Schultz. If there was a tie, guess who won? Because Bruce never bitched, never complained, never threw a ribbon in the garbage can. Win or lose, he had the exact same smile coming out of that ring, the exact same smile. In an interview once, he goes, "Why do people get upset? There's this dog show tomorrow. What do you worry about? We need more Bruce. We need more Bruce. That's what we need, more Bruce." Anyway, getting back to Yes,
Diego's very,
yeah,
Harry Payson's another
yeah.
one, always, well,
There's a bunch of
even if
them.
he gets, yeah, a lot.
I
Yeah.
remember when Bruce came to our house one time. This was in New Jersey, and we had a dog that wasn't necessarily friendly to strangers. And when he came through the front door, I thought this could be an issue. That dog ran right up to him and looked, and he went hi, and the dog wagged his tail like, "Hi, buddy." If dogs love you, you can get it better. You can make a dog show for you, and that dog would be a very good show dog. But if the dog wants to do it for you, you got a winner. They have
Yeah.
to want to do it for you. Anyway, back to the trailers and the trucks and the lights and all
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So a horrible incident happened with a particular woman who had some dogs. Many versions of this story. They were sick anyway. It wasn't on the grounds. It was an all rotten motorhome. I don't know. All I know is it's a tragedy for everybody, including the woman. So in my mind, I guess this rule was created so that the AKC could do something about that. And it came off because it was the most poorly written press release in the history of the world, followed by some really poorly written, hard to understand uh, corrections. And it caused a big scene because the lack of clarity in its intent. Now that dust has settled, it's my understanding. And I think everybody has a different understanding because of the way it was presented. At first, it was they're going to patrol the parking lots, and if you didn't have someone sitting in your trailer or your truck or your van, you're going to get suspended for life. And there was a very funny post. Forget who it was. Wonderful guy from Texas who said his wife said, "By the way, my husband's for rent. He will sleep. He will sleep in your van while you're not there. He likes taking naps." Um, so, but the point is that the AKC felt they needed to do something about this, and I think it's great, right? I mean, no one wants this to happen ever.
No. No.
They were really clear that it wasn't going to be retroactive. So the incident that recently happened wasn't going to be involved. My uncertainty is, can't you just suspend someone for conduct prejudicial to the sport if dogs die? We need a rule about that?
That's a pretty big blanket. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't drill down enough, I don't think. I mean, um, I think that we've had a string over the years. There have been people,
Oh, sure.
handlers,
Always
people,
will be.
human beings that have lost dogs and
Mhm.
trucks of dogs, right? And certainly it's a tragedy and everybody suffers for a short time. And then it kind of goes away. It's out of your mind. You don't think about it.
Mhm.
And this is a problem is that we're trying, I think they're trying to make it so that people are thinking about it.
Right.
This is a priority. You're thinking about it. Like you said, it was presented very poorly. Even the corrections were presented very poorly. I'm not sure if it's even been presented correctly at this point. I don't know, but it's a dilemma and it's a tragedy. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
I do think the AKC should hire an English major just to write these in a clear way. I'm not saying it's easy to write these things in a clear fashion because you've got reading levels from kindergarten to PhDs. So it's not easy. I'm not saying they need to try, well, they do need to try a little harder with that, but it's not easy to do. I understand that. But the good news is that people are at least talking about it, like you said, Kim. And
yeah,
I think that that does matter and that helps the situation. But what it caused was people saying, oh, the enemies, people who don't like each other, they're going to wait until see the guy who walks out of the motorhome to go to the men's room or something, and I'll get him suspended for life. I don't think that's going to happen. I think people are being, um, they're all supportive. My son's read was this. I just spent a whole lot of money to set up my trailer. So if anything goes south, I know on my watch, on my phone, on my headset, I mean, the world will light up. I think every handler has done that. No one wants this to happen on purpose. I think anybody worth their salt has a sort of system. Somebody had a really good idea. There's mechanics use it. It's a flashlight kind of thing. It's a light with a cage around it with a hook. You used to hang it under your motor of the car when you were working on it. Put that
right.
on the outside of your trailer. If that light's on, it means you have power, and everyone would know you have power. Um, but I think if the campgrounds go out, everybody knows. If someone's motorhome goes out and you don't hear the generator, see something, what is it? See something, say something, go help,
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
fix this. But you're going to leave your dogs in your trailer, your truck for 5, 10 minutes or longer with the right backup system. It's not going to be a problem as I understand it, unless you're egregious in your behavior and don't take care of it. But
And are not, and or you don't have the proper signals.
right.
It's then the whole thing. This is the thing that really I still don't understand is, but you can leave them in a vehicle with windows down for ventilation.
Hmm.
That doesn't make any sense to me because if you're in Florida and it's 100 degrees with humidity, which it
Or
always is.
Ohio or New England. These days we
Or
have
yeah,
100 degrees
exactly.
everywhere.
Like you're going to leave your dog even with the windows down, it's
Hmm.
going to be 110 inside. So,
Yeah,
and then also, unfortunately, a lot of our venues with dog shows are not in safe areas.
right,
So no one's going to leave their purebred show dog in a
right.
vehicle with the windows down, right?
Mhm.
Because you probably won't have not only your dog or your car when
Right.
you get back. So that's problematic. I don't know if that's been resolved or not.
And there's common sense involved. When we had our RV up at the resort in Traverse, which was beautiful, our neighbors all had everybody had their neighbors have a key for each. In other words, our neighbors to our right and our left and across the street all had a key to our motorhome. So if something happened, they could get in.
Right.
I don't know if handlers do that, if they exchange keypads or codes or whatever in case it's locked, but usually they don't lock it. That would be pretty horrible. Well, you could always break in. It's not too difficult. But there are ways to do it, and working together is the answer. I think it's great they have a rule. I wish it was presented a little better, or a lot better, because it caused I mean, there are people ready to sue from minute one.
Yeah.
There are people who are listing their motorhomes for sale. So we need these rules. We need rules for bread buy. We need rules for lighting, but for air conditioning. What we really need is rules for common sense and camaraderie.
Yeah.
If people watch out for each other and use their heads, like Bruce Schultz says, there's another show tomorrow. It's not worth losing a friend, chasing a spectator away by your behavior. It's not worth any of that. It's a sport. We're supposed to have fun. And if you're not having fun, don't come back, y'all. We won't leave the light on for you. Anyway, well, Kim, we have a lot of topics to discuss this week. We'll have another podcast coming up real soon, we hope, maybe even an hour. That we'll want to talk about some of the new things, some new ideas about how to limit the race. And I've written two articles about it, and I can tell you that the last one got 70,706 clicks. So I'm not saying it's a great article. I'm saying people are interested in this topic. So we'll pursue that again in our next episode. Meanwhile, I'm Wayne Kavanaugh,
And I'm Kim Meredith.
and we are still standing.
Yes,
Until
we
next
are.
time. Until next time. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Chronicle. Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you,
Stay
Tom and
safe.
Amy.
Yes, thanks. And stay safe. Stay healthy. Enjoy the beach. It's lovely down here in Florida. Even though I've got to head back to Michigan soon. Anyway, thank you again, folks. We'll see you soon. Over and out.